Describe just what I'm leaving behind. And now the voice inside is telling me it'll be just fine. Road never ends. Beat myself up again. These things shall come to pass. Oh no, no, this won't be the last. Yeah, my autocratic come back, let's dance.
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, to Top Notch Tuesdays, brought to you by All Pro Racing, sponsored by Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling. We are at Talladega in the Gen 6 Cup cars, and they are currently qualifying at this time. Looking at our leaderboard right now, it looks like Mac Cook is leading with a 50.141. With just under 2 minutes left in qualifying. And my name is David Everly, and I will be the broadcaster for this evening. With qualifying over, we will now go through the qualifying order. And it looks like Mac Cook will take the pole with a 50.141. Followed on the outside will be Tim Cox with a 50.149. In third place will be Greg McClendon, followed by Michael D'Amico on the outside. Next row will be Garrett Jones with Kenneth Wright on the outside of him, followed by Dakota Schultz with Kevin Utley on the outside, followed by Michael Jeans with Jeff T. Martin lining up on his outside. The O2 of Christopher Berry will be in the next row with Everett Lane on the outside, and the 006 of Furless Felkins will be in the next row with Frank DaCosta lining up. In 15th position, it will be Brandon Massey with Chad Osborne on the outside, with Dwayne Cooper in the next row with Bobby Tench on the outside. In 19th will be Jamie Dyson, followed by Jose Dorado. In the next row in 21st will be Richard Patino, followed by Ivan Garcia. And the last one I'm showing up will be David Llewellyn in 23rd. As they are pacing around, waiting on the green flag conditions. And in the booth, I will be joined by Sean Zulu, who will be your commentator for tonight's race. How you doing, Sean?
I am doing good, Dave. Thank you. And how are you?
I'm ready for some Talladega plate track racing.
Oh yes, sir, I hear you. And right now looks like we're gonna be exiting turn 4 to go green as these guys are bunched up right behind that pace car double foul, 80 miles an hour. The pace car is gonna be getting off, exiting turn 4 here. The pace car is off. Green, green, green. The leader's on the gas pedal on the outside line. It's going to be that 11 of Team B Cox. Not getting any help from the 62 of Michael Domingo at the moment. The leader of the bottom lane, Mac Cook, getting some help from that 4-0 of Greg McClendon. Behind him is going to be that 13 of Garrett Jones. And looks like the inside line is a place to be at the moment, as that outside line is not going anywhere anytime soon. And by the way, Dave, have you had any experience with these A cars?
I've had a little bit of experience. I've done some hosted races with them at Talladega. They are definitely fun to race at Talladega.
Oh yes, sir. And from what I hear and from what I've experienced with these cars, they actually draft differently compared to the trucks and the B cars. And by the looks of it, this is pretty much going to be more single file than it is going to be double file, because it takes more than 2 cars or 3 cars to get up to speed with these things. So it's pretty much all about the teamwork.
Yeah, most definitely with this new aero package, it's real hard to get up on the guy's bumper in front of you and push them. So it's definitely a little give and take while you're racing around this track for sure.
Oh yes, sir. It looks like again we have a 40% fuel limit there, so I'm sure these pit stops are what's gonna separate these guys or bunch them, separate them, pretty much spread them out, or as most of you guys would say, the pit stops are gonna separate the men from the boys. So the one who pits the best is gonna have a better chance at winning this thing. Oh, going back up front here, that 13 Garrett Jones gets loose. I'm surprised he did not spin that thing. He was sideways, left and right, doing over 195 miles an hour. So a great job by Garrett keeping that thing steady.
Definitely
Looks
looks
like
this lead pack is definitely going to be sticking together. They pretty much are running together and definitely taking advantage of that draft.
Oh yes, sir. And looks like actually no one's trying to make that outside line work just yet. Well, they are actually trying to make it work, but they're not getting any luck. And it's going to be led by that 02 of Christopher Berry, who's being pushed by the 24 of Everett F. Lane. And behind him is going to be that Dwayne Cooper 00 Toyota Camry, trying to catch up to the back bumper of Everett, but not getting enough help. So he's going to jump down to the inside lane and leave Everett and Cooper out to dry. Looks like Everett Lane jumps to the inside line, leaving that 02 of Berry out to dry. And Dave, from your experience with these cars at this track, do you think these guys are actually going to need to take tires for this race length?
I mean, they are running 50 laps. I'm sure we'll see a lot of at least right side tires.
Oh yes, sir. I totally agree. At these super speedways for all three, the trucks, the cars, and the B cars, the right side wear more than the left sides do. So yes, and actually taking right sides only is not gonna affect them, because putting tires on that car takes as long as filling it up. So it's gonna work in their favor. That 0-2, Christopher Berry looking to the outside line. I mean, being left out to dry, being taken 3 wide as he's going to lose about 3 spots there and gets back in line right behind that 14. Actually, the 31 of Jamie Dyson. Sorry about that, Dave. I cut you off. What were you about to say?
Actually, I was just going to say, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting because you're going to see cars moving. As they're running in that draft, these cars do get hot pretty quick. So they are definitely keeping an eye on their temperature gauge.
Oh yes, sir. But and it's going to be difficult for them to actually overheat because there is actually a bubble in between them, as they are not really pushing too hard or not really close enough to push the car in front of them. So it's allowing air to get into those radiators and cooling them down. Looks like that 12 of Chad Osborne is going to the outside line, getting some help from that 24 of Everett Lane. Looks like it's going to be a 2-car push on the high sideline, and looks like they're actually on the move. That 13 of Garrett Jones is going to jump to the outside line right behind Everett Lane, so it's going to become a 3-car push on that outside line. Actually, going further up front, we have that 12, now the 9 of Kevin Utley jumping the outside line, catching up to the 18 of Michael Jeans, who's going to be our new leader of that high sideline. Looks like ahead of the 9 or the 18 of Jeans is going to be that 502 of Dakota Schultz, who's trying to make the outside line work, but jumps back the inside line because he has no help at the moment.
It definitely looks like that outside line's starting to gain a little speed there, Sean. They're starting to close up and get back up front to be able to run 2 wide.
Oh yes, sir. Looks like they have just as many cars on the inside line as they do on the outside line. Or maybe I should say they have as many cars on the outside line as the inside line. So it's pretty much going to even it out, as these guys are going to actually come to lap a lap car. That's going to be the 54 of Nick Reynolds.
And he's going to be able to jump down in there, try to get that draft, and at least stay in the position to possibly get that lap back.
And actually, he actually might end up catching the draft if the car in front of him backs up to him. And that's that 13 of Garrett Jones, who at the moment is actually pulling away. But looks like Nick has a pack coming up behind him. So if he's lucky enough, he might get picked up. Oh, looks like we have one loose on the apron. That's going to be that 40 of Greg McClendon. Looks like he touched that apron in the tri-oval and things went south for him. But great save by him, and unfortunately he's going to lose a lot of spots and a lot of speed. Looks like the leaders are lapping another car. That's going to be the 15 of Brandon Massey. And by the looks of it, we haven't had any lead changes. Since it's pretty much single file, no one has had a chance to get around Mac Cook just yet. Or maybe they're just staying behind him, trying to set him up. Looks like the 502 of Dakota Schultz trying to make the outside line work, getting some help from the 18 of Michael Jeans, who then gets dumped by Schultz, jumping the inside line, leaving the 18 out to dry. Going back up front, it's still pretty much single file as the 502 of Schultz jumps the outside line, trying to make it work, but not getting any help from anybody at the moment. Looks like he might have a run on his own, but it's gonna die real soon, probably entering turn 3. But if Schultz side drafts enough, he actually might make the outside line work without getting any help from anybody.
It looks like they're going to try to make it 3 wide. Almost. Nope, they're going to keep it 2 wide, and he's still going to be left out. He's probably going to be losing some positions after this.
Oh, yes, sir. It actually looked like the 24 of Everett Lane tried to jump to the outside line to help the 502, and actually he does, but he's following the 12, sorry, of Chad Osborne. So it looks like the outside line is starting to form. It looks like the 502 of Schultz is getting some help from Jeans in that 18 car. And just like as you had mentioned earlier, Dave, the 54 of Nick Reynolds actually has caught up and is in the draft with the leaders on the high sideline.
Yeah, he's going to just try to ride with them, and if a caution does come out, hope that he gets the lucky dog and gets that back on the lead lap. More likely, he's just going to ride along with these guys and try to fight his way back up to get back on that lead lap.
Oh, yes, sir. And by the looks of it, he's actually 3 laps down. So if he's lucky enough, he'll get around all these guys who are maybe a lap or 2 ahead of him, and he will get the lucky dog eventually. Going to the outside line, that 24 Everett Lane in the 3rd lane, trying to make it 3 wide, not getting any help whatsoever. That doesn't look like it's going to work for him, but you never know, it just might if he side drafts enough. Everett Lane went from 0 to 0 really quickly, as these guys are actually going to be pitting in here. Looks like it's going to be led by the 9 of Kevin Utley, who gets loose, entering pit road and spins. The 16 of Mac Cook got tapped by Kevin Utley, but somehow managed to get into pit road. Not as bad as Kevin did. Looks like our leader down pit road is going to be that 13 of Garrett Jones. Let's stay on him and see what he takes. If he takes 4 or gas only. Well, everyone else is leaving, but looks like Garrett might have been caught speeding. So we're gonna focus on the 11 of Tim B. Cox, who led exiting the pits. And behind him is going to be the 146 of Kenneth Wright. Looks like Tim B and Kenneth Wright are actually spaced apart, so it doesn't look like they're going to gain any time, but they're definitely going to lose some time to the leaders who might be in the draft.
Yeah, I'm currently showing the leaders are actually on pit road at this time, so they come in, and so he might be able to come back around and get out before they get out of the pits and take over that top position.
Oh, yes, sir. And speaking of the pits, looks like that 24 of Everett Lane and the 12 of Chad Osborne are actually exiting pit road nose to tail at the moment. And behind him is going to be the 62 of Michael D'Amico, who is a little too far back for draft. Team Big Cox is actually going to catch up to Everett Lane and the 12 of Osborne here. But hopefully he's in draft range and he's going to be able to get their draft, because they're already hooked up, but he's about a second back behind him. Looks like Kenneth Wright is actually catching up to the bumper of Cox. Looks like our new leader is going to be that 12 of Chad Osborne, and in second place is going to be that 24 of Everett Lane. That 11 of Team B is going to be in third place. That 146 of Kenneth Wright is in fourth place, and the 62 of Michael D'Amico in fifth place.
Yeah, it looks like Michael's going to be teaming up with 2 cars there behind him, so he might be able to get that push to get caught back up to the lead pack and fight for that position again.
Oh, yes, sir, without a doubt. And, you know, since we all know that 2 cars are faster than 1, Therefore, 4 cars are faster than 3. In other words, the more cars you have, the faster you go. And in this case, Michael D'Amico is getting help from more cars than the leaders are. So he is definitely going to catch him. Looks like Kenneth Wright and Team B are actually in draft range at the moment, as they're going to be sneaking up on the leaders, who are the 24 of Everett Lane and that 12 of Chad Osborne. And unfortunately, it looks like we lost the 9 of Kevin Utley. Looks like he took that car of his to the back of pit road.
Yeah, I mean, that's costly trying to get into the pit here. I mean, you're going from almost 200 mile an hour down to 60 mile an hour. And, I mean, one mistake on pit road could cost you the draft and pretty much put you behind the rest of the race.
Oh, yes, sir. And, you know, these cars are actually faster, so therefore you have to take it easy going down pit road. But by the looks of it, Utley got onto the brakes way too hard and locked up the rear tires, and that sent his car sideways. Looks like the leaders have been caught by the 146 of Wright and the 11 of Tim, and actually pulling away from D'Amico.
Yeah, the front lead pack, they've definitely just kind of jumped into single file there and are just riding. And as you said, they are definitely pulling away from the pack that Michael D'Amico is currently leading.
And so I'm actually looking further back here. We have what seems or what looks to be a third pack being led by the 02 of Christopher Berry, being pushed by the 00 of Dwayne Cooper, getting some help from that 35 of David Llewellyn. Sorry if I mispronounced your name there. It looks like that 00 of Dwayne is jumping the outside line to dump the 02 of Berry, but then gets dumped by the 35 of David. Going back up front, looks like Everett Lane has lost 2 positions from what he had last time or last lap. He is now behind the 146 of Wright, the 11 of Tim, and the 12 of Osborne. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he tried to make the outside line work, but no one followed him and ended up losing spots. The 11 of Tim B loses it in the try-over, but manages to save it. Great job by him. Surprisingly, the 146 and the 24 of Everett did not catch up in time to hit him there.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show that, you know, just tapping the apron in a tri-oval or actually anywhere on this track can be disastrous, but he definitely did. It was behind that wheel and he was turning it hard, and he was able to save it and keep up his pace.
Oh, yes, sir, without a doubt. Great job by him. It's definitely not easy to save a car or a truck or whatever you're driving going 200 miles plus an hour. Looks like Michael D'Amico is actually 5 seconds back. That is nowhere near draft range.
Yeah, that 3-car pack that Michael D'Amico is leading, unfortunately, they just don't have the cars to keep up with the 4 cars in the lead pack, so they are just constantly losing ground from the leaders.
And actually, before when he pitted out there, it looked like he had 3 cars behind him to help him, and that was more than enough to catch the leaders. But I'm not sure what happened to that 3rd car. So that actually definitely affected them, because now they have 4 cars up front leading this thing, and Michael is stuck with 2 cars behind him. So that's a disadvantage there. Going back up front, looks like that 11 of Team B has lost a position to the 24 of Everett Lane and is now going to be in 4th place, right behind Everett.
Yeah, these leaders are looking pretty content with just riding, and they're probably just riding and waiting until the last 2 laps to start making those aggressive moves, trying to fight for that win.
Oh yes, sir, you definitely can't win the race just yet, and you want to lead the laps that actually matter, instead of forcing yourself to lead laps this early and ending up putting yourself in problems. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. We're going to go for a commercial break here. Just make sure you refill those popcorn so we can see the second half of this race, because it's just lap 25. It is halfway. So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, and see you. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing much has changed, but by the looks of it, the 146 of Kenneth Wright got shuffled out to the back here as he was trying to make a switch with the leader and got tangled up with some lap traffic. And going further back to the pack, that's being led by that 62 of Michael D'Amico. Looks like they've lost about 3 more seconds to the leaders, and they're going to be down pit road right now, being led by the 62 of Michael D'Amico.
Yeah, it's definitely almost, this should probably be, hopefully, their last pit stop, and then should be green flag racing all the way to the checkered flag.
Oh yes, sir, and by the looks of it, we actually have 20 laps to go and 0 caution, so it's definitely been a great race. And looks like D'Amico is not in draft range here, but he's trying to catch up to Mac Cook, who seems to be backing up to him. So that's definitely going to work in his favor there. Going back up the leaders, looks like the 12 of Chad Osborne is exiting pit road at the moment. But looks like the 31 of Jamie Dyson is going to get lapped here real shortly by the 12. From what it looks like here, it seems like the 12 of Chad Osborne got the best pit exit here, as he's going to leave Everett Lane and Tim B and the 146 of Kenneth Wright behind him.
Yeah, it looks like he just took filled up with Sunoco fuel and was out of the pit, so he didn't take any tires. He took fuel only that pit stop.
Oh yes, sir. And going back to look at that 146 of Kenneth Wright, looks like he's actually about 5 to 7 seconds behind Everett Lane and the 11 of Tim B. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he sped, or maybe he took 4 tires while everyone else took 2, or maybe just a splash only, like you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it looks like the 24 of Everett Lane and the 11 of Tim Cox probably took 2 tires and full fuel, so their pit times were definitely a little slower than that of Chad Olson. So that maybe explain the space in between them drivers.
Oh yes, sir. And actually, they're not even too far back now, because they were hooked up and drafting here. So they're actually going to catch up to him, and if he's lucky enough, they'll pick him up. And if he's unlucky, they'll actually just get around him. Oh, looks like that 24 Everett Lane caught up to the back bumper of that 12 of Chad Osborne and left him out to dry. But 12 of Chad Osborne tried to throw a block there, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the 12 of Chad Osborne was trying to get back up into the draft. Looks like he may have caught just the tail end of it. Let's see if he can get caught back up and make us a 3-car pack.
I'm starting to think that since he's that far, he's kind of a little far behind them. He might not be lucky enough to catch the draft, as they are catching some lap cars and are going to get some draft from those lap cars.
Most definitely. It definitely looks like the 12 of Chad Osborne has lost the draft, as he has definitely fallen back from the front 2 leaders.
Those leaders actually lapping the 31 of Jamie Dyson, who just went a lap down and is currently in 12th place. Looking further back, looking at the pack being led by Michael D'Amico in that 62, being pushed by the 16 of Mac Cook, who's actually getting help from the 146 of Kenneth Wright, who's getting help from the 66 of Bobby Tinch. So it looks like the 146 of Kenneth Wright had a bad pit stop and lost the leaders, and somehow managed to get into the pack. That's being led by the 62 of Michael D'Amico. So that's actually going to work in his favor.
Yeah, most definitely, because looking at their lap times, it looks like they are actually starting to catch the lead pack. Plus, there's 2 more cars there right behind the 66 there that looks like they're trying to get caught up, and they're going to make it a 6-car pack.
Oh, actually, when you look behind that 66 of Bobby, it looks like they have about 4 cars behind him. So that's definitely gonna. This is actually a bigger pack, and that if they stay single file and try and make the outside line work, they might just catch the leaders before this thing is over. That's 72 Ivan Garcia getting lapped by Michael D'Amico in the pack. Looks like Garcia is actually gonna go 2 laps down. Actually, no, scratch that. Looks like Ivan was already a lap down when he was lapped by the leader, so he's actually gonna stay a lap down.
Yeah, looking at that pack, it looks like there's 8 cars running that bottom line, so they definitely are going to be pushing, trying to get up there and get caught up to that lead pack.
Oh yes, sir. They've actually already picked up speed and are on the move here, as they're gonna be running down Everett Lane and his pack.
It's just wondering if they have enough laps to be able to catch them, because right now I'm showing them about 11 seconds behind the lead pack.
And by the looks of it, the pack being led by Michael is actually pushing about 201 to 203 miles per hour, while Everett Lane and his pack is only pushing about 200. So that's a 3 mile an hour difference. And going back up to the leaders here, looks like we have the 40 of Greg McClendon in the mix here, giving some help to that 12 of Chad Osborne. So it has become a 4-car pack in the front. The 146 of Kenneth Wright making the outside line work in the second pack, getting some help from the 54 of Nick Reynolds. Jeff T. Martin in that 14, actually featuring his name here. We haven't spoken much of him. I actually didn't even know he was in this race, but it's actually good to see him in the race here. Oh, looks like we have one off the track. Looks like he actually blew up. That's going to be the 16 of Mac Cook. Oh, Dave, I just, like you had mentioned earlier, these things overheat pretty quick. So it looks like Mac stayed behind the car he was pushing for way too long and didn't give his radiator any air whatsoever and ended up blowing it.
Yeah, going back to look at the replay, he was pushing the 62 of Michael D'Amico really hard, and as they come out of the turn, it just looked like the motor gave up and he went down off the track. Yeah, his motor just gave up. He just did not get enough clean air into his hood there to keep that engine cool.
Oh yes, sir, and great job by him, and great job to everyone who avoided hitting him and managed to get around him safely. Looks like we have a new leader of that second pack. It's going to be the 146 of Kenneth Wright, side by side with the 54 of Nick Reynolds. And by the looks of it, they actually just gained a second and a half on the leaders. So it's actually working, but just like you had mentioned earlier, I also don't think they're going to be able to catch him before the race ends. Looks like they gained another 300ths of a second there, so they're definitely on the move here.
Well, with 10 laps to go, looks like the 62 of Michael D'Amico and that pack he's really need to get it single file and push real hard to be able to get up here and catch these leaders in order to contend for the win.
Oh, yes, sir. And looking up front here, we have the 24 of Everett Lane leading them down pit road. Right behind him is going to be the 11 of Team B Cox, and behind him is going to be the 12 of Chad Osborne. Well, we thought that they had their last pit stop, but I guess not.
Yeah, it looks like it's a one more pit and then a green flag fight out for the win. So it'll definitely see you're definitely going to need a good pit stop here in order to be able to contend for the leaders. So you can't make any mistakes on this pit stop because it could cost you the race.
Oh, yes, right now I was actually observing that 24 of Everett Lane down pit road, and it looks like he just took a splash and go. And he's on the move and getting no help at the moment, but behind him, catching him slowly but surely, is that 12 of Chad Osborne. Looks like we have a new leader, that 146 of Kenneth Wright. The pack is now being led by the 54 of Nick Reynolds, who's currently 2 laps down. I'm actually starting to think that Everett Lane and his crew, when they pitted earlier, they might have taken less gas or or something along those lines. But then the lead pack here, or the now lead pack, might have taken a full tank, and that's going to work in their favor because it doesn't seem as though these guys are actually going to pit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to save fuel here, but especially if you're running in a pack, it makes it a little easier to save a little bit of fuel. But it'll definitely be interesting to see how this plays out with 7 laps to go here at the line.
Oh, yes, sir. And Everett Lane here is going to actually, it's showing him in 7th place here, 25 seconds behind the lead pack. I mean, if I were Everett, I would really pretty much just hope for the best and hope these guys have to pit one more time.
Oh, most definitely, and they need to get into a pack because this lead pack is catching them quick, and the quicker they catch them, and if they do have to pit, that's more of a space cushion in between them and Evan as well.
Oh, yes, sir, and look at that, the 62 of Michael DeMille going down pit road at the moment. Oh, he gets hit by the 18. Okay. Well, he did not get hit by anybody, but it made it sound as though he got hit. So it looks like that was some bad netcode. That's really unfortunate for that 62 of Everett Lane, who's been really strong tonight. And Everett Lane and Chad and the 00 of Cooper are pretty much, I'm sure they're really happy at the moment because they're actually going to get a chance to catch up the lead pack. Yep, speaking of Everett Lane, looks like they actually just got around the guys who pitted. So Everett Lane and the 12 of Chad Osborne are actually going to be back in the lead. Actually, that 11 also had a bad pit stop there, as he's going to be behind the 54 of Nick Reynolds. And it looks like he's lost the 24 of Everett Lane and the 12 of Osborne. So the second pack is gonna be a 4-car pack, and the front pack only has 2 cars in it. So maybe if they're lucky enough, they just might run him down.
Most definitely. I'm sitting here looking at the differential in between them, and it's definitely shrinking little by little. So it'll be interesting to see if they'll be able to catch him within the next 4 laps here until the checkered flag flies.
And I'm really sure Everett Lane and Osborne really hoping that, you know, a caution comes out and ends this thing, because they know that they're outnumbered and therefore are low on speed compared to everyone else behind them.
Oh, most definitely. That 3-car pack there behind them, I mean, just watching their differentials, they are definitely catching them. They're down to about 5 seconds behind the the lead pack there, but they are definitely making a move, trying to get up and get close to them to where they can try to battle for that win.
Yes, sir. And I was actually watching, as you were talking here, I was actually watching the 54 of Nick Reynolds on the backstretch, who's leading that pack there. That's catching Everett Lane. They were pushing 205 entering turn 3, while Everett Lane and Chad are only pushing about 196. So that is definitely a big difference, and they'll run him down here pretty quickly.
Oh, most definitely, because I'm just checking again, and they are now about a little over 3.5 seconds behind that lead pack, so they are definitely pushing, trying to get caught.
Yes, sir, and looks like up front, the 54 of Nick Reynolds doing the Q line is actually being followed by everyone behind him. So that's actually going to even give him more speed, and they'll even catch up to Everett Lane quicker than they were supposed to.
Most definitely, we're still on 3 laps to go, and they are now just under 3 seconds behind that lead pack. So it'll be definitely interesting to see if they can get caught up and get around them.
Yes, sir, and looks like the 54 of Nick Reynolds is still not in this thing to win it, but the cars behind him are, namely the 11 of Tim B. Cox and the 14 of Jeff T. Martin and the 146 of Kenneth Wright. So I'm sure they're going to try their best to get around the 54 of Nick Reynolds. The 11 of Team B betrays the 54 of Nick Reynolds there and tries to take it away from him, but looks like everyone else decides to follow Nick Reynolds rather than push the 11 of Tim. Team B throws a block but does not have enough, has no choice but to go back to the bottom lane here, as he's going to be overtaken by everybody else who he tried to betray. Oh, look at that, Dave. They're actually now a second behind.
Most definitely, especially with the white flag flying there. You know, they got just another turn here to try to get it caught and get around them. So it'll be definitely interesting to see if they have the speed to be able to get up to them, which it does look like they are catching them.
And yeah, they're actually pretty much in their draft now, and they're actually going to be catching them here before they try oval, hopefully. And looks like the 11 of Tim B is got some mercy from the 146 of Kenneth Wright. Everett Lane throws a block to the outside line to block the run of the 54 of Nick Reynolds, who then spins, is put in the wall, putting 54 of Nick Reynolds off the track. The 14 of Jeff T. Martin was involved, as that's gonna pretty much end his race. Going back up front, Everett Lane is actually leading this thing. No pressure at the moment, but behind him is the 146 of Kenneth Wright breathing down his neck.
And it looks like the 24 of Everett Lane has won this race.
I was actually confused there. I thought this was the white flag, but I guess I was wrong. So congratulations to that 24 of Everett Lane, and behind him is going to be that 12 of Chad Osborne coming out in second place, and the 14 of Jeff T. Martin sneaking in a third place finish. That was a good move by that 24 of Everett Lane there. They were actually going to overtake him, but if he hadn't thrown that block, he was going to get overtaken.
Yeah, that was definitely a calculated move there. I mean, it could have been disastrous and spun him all, and he could have lost it. But it definitely paid out for him as he was able to cross that checkered flag first.
Oh, yes, sir. And we're going to try and get our top three finishers here in the booth here, so we can give them an after-race interview. We got our winner here, Everett Lane in that 24 Chevrolet. You got a copy, bud?
I sure do. How you doing?
I am doing good, and how are you?
I'm doing fine. That was fun. Woo, what a night.
Oh yes, sir. Congratulations on your win. And Everett, man, we saw you up front pretty much the whole night, and we saw those pit stops worked in your favor there. Tell us about your whole race. How was the pit strategy? Did it work out? And did you have any teammates?
Yeah, I got to thank Tim up there and Chad Osborne, those guys. We were running really good up there tonight, and the pit crew really did a great job tonight. I mean, I got the car in there, but we got in and out of there really good tonight, and I think that last pit stop really made a difference in where I finished.
Oh yeah, so we definitely watched your last pit stop. Looks like you had the fastest pit exit there. Everyone was still in their pits though as you exited pit road, and by the looks of it, you had to back up to get your partner. So great job on that. And tell us, how's the tire wear?
Oh, the tire wear was good tonight, Sean. Every time in, except the last time I was rotating tires. First time in, I took left. Second time in, I took right. So I rotated the tires except for that last stop. So I had good tires. So I didn't want to run out of them. You always need rubber out there toward the end of these races.
Oh, copy that. And we noticed you got loose in the tri over there a couple of times. And was this an open set or a fixed setup? I actually didn't ask.
Tonight was an open setup, and definitely wanted to give a shout out to Mark Mather. I pulled one of his setups out tonight, did a little raising in the rear end of it, and it really ran good. So I want to thank Mark, and rest in peace, Mark.
Oh yeah, Sir Mark would definitely be remembered as he was one of the fastest drivers I personally knew. Well, Everett, congratulations once again. And is there anyone else you'd like to thank before we let you go?
I want to thank Michael D'Amico and you guys up here for your announcing. It was outstanding. I had a little iPad next to me and got to listen to you guys the whole race. So you guys did a great job up there, and all pro racing, and definitely want a fast lane racing in the winner's circle again. It feels good.
Yes, sir. Well, Everett, once again, congratulations, and we'll hope to see you again next week.
Thank you, Sean. You guys did a good job up there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Dave, he's all yours.
And we have Jeff T. Martin here in the booth. Jeff, you got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
You definitely, that last pit stop, it looked like you guys worked well together, was able to catch the leaders. Were you all working together, or was it just happened to come together and just push?
Yeah, no, we got our little group, Southeast Motorsports, and it was me and Nick Reynolds and Michael Jeans. We were just trucking on up through there. We was actually catching everybody really fast, faster than we thought we would.
All right, did you have any, I know I seen there was some contact there and kind of took off your front bumper there, or checker flag, as the leader there kind of made a block, but you guys definitely made a hard charge and was able to try to at least get up there and compete.
Yeah, Everett blocked, but you know, anybody else would have done the same thing. He was just blocking his spot. Ain't no hard feelings about none of that. It was a fun race. I enjoyed it.
Well, before we let you go there, Jeff, is there anybody you would like to thank?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys doing the broadcasting the race and being here and doing it. Y'all do a good job. Michelangelo's painting and Danny Rudy, top notch heating and cooling, and all pro racing in Southeast Motorsports.
All right, well, Sean, back to you.
Well, once again, congratulations, Jeff T. Martin. And right in front of him, we have that 12 of Chad Osborne, bringing this thing home in second place. Chad Osborne, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yes, sir, Chad. Once again, congratulations. Well, first of all, congratulations. And tell us about your race. What was your strategy? Was it ride or was it go for it and try and lead as many laps as possible?
Yeah, I was going for it pretty much, you know. Just did no tires, just took fuel only, and just went for the, trying to get us four. There was like four of us breaking away from the pack and seeing if we could just make it a race between us four. And then right there at the end, that last pit stop, me and Everett came off the pit road about at the same time, stuck together, and yeah, it was tough to catch them. And then the whole rest of the pack there on the last lap caught us all. But can't say enough about the Spider Chevrolet SS. It was a fun run today, and a lot of respect out there on the track with everyone. So had a good time.
Oh, copy that, and I'm glad to hear that. And we just heard that this race was actually an open setup race. Tell us, how was your setup? Was it loose, and how did it compare to everyone else?
Yeah, my set felt really good. Felt solid. Didn't feel loose. Like I said, I didn't need to take any tires, and I was right there at the end. If anything, I could have probably added a little bit of tape there at the end, and maybe given myself more of a shot to have more straight line speed by myself. But appreciate you guys putting on this broadcast as always, and appreciate everything you guys do as well.
Yes, sir, and thanks for having us, and we're glad to have you. Well, Chad, once again, congratulations, and we hope to see you again next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, Dave, I've enjoyed calling this race with you as usual. Hope to do it again soon. Probably doing it again tomorrow night. So, guys, check us out then. And if you haven't yet already, please hit that subscribe button. And before we leave, Dave, any last words?
That was definitely an interesting race, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of racing we get tomorrow night.
Oh, yes, I definitely look forward to it. Well, it's been a fun race, guys. Thanks again for coming out. Thanks for tuning in. Without you, we're nothing. So please continue doing what you're doing. Keep supporting All Pro Broadcasting and All Pro Racing. If you haven't yet already, if you're new to this thing, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when we go live. And thank you, Michael D'Amico, for all you do. And thank you, Dave Everly, for doing a great job behind those cameras and behind the commentating. And you're just you're good guys overall, and I'm glad to be part of All Pro. Well, guys, this is Sean Zul in the booth, and Dave Everly, and we'll see you again tomorrow night. Good night.
Running faster than the breakaways that never bend. It's hard to describe just what I'm